Best Rock live at the Copper Tank in Deep Ellum, the Q102 Halloween party. We're at the corner of Good Latimer and Main Street in Deep Ellum. We've got Gene Simmons of KISS here helping us celebrate Halloween, and we'll be talking more with Gene coming up next on Q102. Texas Best Rock live at the Copper Tank in Deep Ellum, the Q102 Halloween party with Gene Simmons of KISS. You guys are live on the radio right now, folks. Give it up. Give it up for Gene Simmons.
Unbelievable, unbelievable, unbelievable.
Texas loves you, man.
Yeah, you know, we've been coming here for over 25 years, ever since we came here. The very first time we opened for a band called Savoy Brown and Manfred Mann in 1974.
Wow. Savoy Brown and Manfred Mann?
And even then, I got to tell you, we could have easily been booed off the stage, and it's like, get out of here, we don't care, let us just see the headline. But Texas has always opened up their arms and their legs, come to think of it, every time, and we really appreciate it.
Right on, man. Now, going back to that, talking about those days when KISS started out, what was the reaction normally, you know, with the makeup and the stage show? What was the bands? And
initially, everybody would be numb. You know, initially they'd kind of look and say, what the hell is this? The big problem was never with the fans. The big problem was always with the headline act. Often we'd get the power pulled.
Oh, really?
And that's something we always kept in mind, that if we ever got a chance to actually have the power, that we would always treat somebody the way we wanted to be treated. So any band that's ever opened for us, if you can ask them, you know, on your own, they'll go into a testimonial about how they were treated. And it's really something I think everybody should pay attention to, which is, if the opening band winds up being better because the headline act gives them more lights and more sound or whatever, it makes for a better show. Sure. If the headline act messes up the opening band, it makes for a worse show. Ultimately, the headline act should worry about the entire show, not just when they're on.
That's a great point, because most bands don't do that. They
That's because they're chicken bleep. That's because they're afraid. And it's the responsibility of a headline act for the entire 3-4 hours of a show, not just when they're on.
So take responsibility for the entire show.
Sure, because when you buy a ticket, part of the ticket is you get to see the opening act.
Right.
So if the headline act, you know, make sure the opening, hey, you know what, if the headline act doesn't want the opening act to be there, then don't put him there.
Good point, too.
But if they're there, treat them like human beings.
Right on. Gene Simmons of KISS on Q102, Texas Best Rock live at the Copper Tank. Come see us. One of the things, my aunt, I was only 12 years old when I went to see you the first time.
Me too.
My aunt had to take me, and she swore that she had nightmares. After,
your aunt? What's her name?
Her name's Rosanna.
I did her.
Oh, okay.
Been there.
She's probably listening. She'll love that.
Ultimately, initially they're always going to be the critics on the sidelines. There are religious groups who always point fingers and forget don't point your finger unless you're without sin and all the rest of that. Do not judge lest you be judged. Right. I'll quote you Psalm and verse right along with the rest of the knuckleheads out there. The important thing, though, is that time ultimately is the main judge. You can point fingers at a band and say they're this and they're that. Ultimately, the kings decide. The bosses are the fans. We work for you. And any band that has that kind of vibe and that thinks that they're the king and that the fans work for them are out on their butts before they can spell their last name.
I don't think she meant it that way as much as that the show that you put on. The part that she referred to was during God of Thunder, you know, with the blood and the lights and the way y'all really you combine all the aspects of putting on a show, with the light, the smoke, the props, and the music, you know. And
we intend to take this much further. We intend to take this where no band has gone before. I like that phrase.
I can't. Where no band has gone before. You might want to patent that real quick, man. Copyright that.
I like that. Look at this guy. Look.
All right. How old is he?
There's a young man about 4.
4? Is he 4?
Powerful and attractive, though. There you go. You know, nobody can see what we see here. Everybody's dressed.
There's a 5-year-old standing up with us.
5
years old with a tie and a long sleeve white shirt and
a Peter Criss makeup.
Peter Criss makeup. You've got it right on, man.
Very cool.
Right on. Let's tell you what, God of Thunder, one of my favorites. Let's hear it on Q102, Texas Best Rock live at the Copper Tank with Gene Simmons of KISS. 102 live at the Copper Tank, man. I love that, man. I just love that. God of Thunder. We're with the God of Thunder, Gene Simmons of KISS.
There you go.
The Copper Tank, man. Man, I just still love that album, man.
We're having a ball.
What did the first Kiss Alive record do for KISS? I mean, that was I mean, y'all had 3 records out before that, and we're getting success, but that live record...
We did. I got to tell you that the first Alive record was one of a kind, because when it first came out, live records meant nothing.
Right.
Only bands that didn't have a career put out live records because they couldn't sell records and they didn't want to spend money for new albums.
Right.
We not only decided to put out a live album, we decided to put out a double live album, which started a whole trend. After Ours came out, the word Alive became synonymous with live records. Kiss Alive, then it was Frampton Comes Alive, and then everybody's alive and alive and alive. That double album came out and sold 3 million records immediately in the days when 300,000 records was gold.
Right.
So it sold 10 times gold in those days and immediately put us on the map and proved to us once and for all that no matter how much time we like to spend in the studio, Kiss was, and will always be about being live.
Great live.
What we do is about live stuff, and ironically enough, I don't think we've ever really equaled the... We've never really been able to master the studio. It's never really quite gotten up to the energy level that we have on stage. And I guess that's part of our cross to bear.
Well, that is true.
Now we're going to start getting letters. What did he say?
Well, that is true. I see your point, because if you go back and listen to the first Kiss album, the self-titled album, and then Dressed to Kill or Hotter Than Hell, the tempo on the live record is so much faster, so much bigger. The pop is there. It's Kiss live is what it's all about, man. To me, anyway.
It is, and along the way we've tried to make sure that we kept it updated. We came in with a Live 2 just to make sure that people knew where we were at then. And then a couple of years after that, when we had Bruce and Eric, we wanted to show that lineup was sounding that way. I'm sure at some point there's going to be a Live 4. But clearly, a Live 4 is going to have to include the original 4, Ace, Peter, Paul, and
that's a great one right
Makes
there.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes. Man, you're coming up with all the...
Full circle.
You're coming up with all the same. Then you got to copyright all these tonight, man.
It's done.